Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome back. Today I want to talk about a series that I just finished. It's a trilogy that I absolutely love. It's the Magic of the Lost trilogy by C.L. Clarke, and book 3 is The Sovereign. It just came out this month. Well, actually, September 30th. I just got to read it this month. So, this series, there's so much to say about it. It's very rare that you get a series that just keeps getting better and better. And I feel like with this last book, it was such high stakes, and it didn't shy away from that. People that you truly loved did die. And it's just, it says, or it talks about so much. So the two main characters, it is a sapphic romance as well. It's not, the romance is very much part of the story, but there's so much else going on that is not the only part of the story. So it deals with colonization, and so Princess, when we meet her, becomes Queen Luca, is essentially the colonizer. She comes to the land she wants to make changes, she wants to reform, but she's not listening to her people. She's thinking she knows what's best for everybody, including the people that they're colonizing. And so in book 1, the colonized rise up and rebel, and there's a war. And the main two characters on this are she is Touraine. They call her a Sans, and so essentially they were stolen or sold at birth, or when they were kids, to become these conscripted soldiers in the colonized army. And so Touraine spent her whole life trying to be obedient, trying to move up in the ranks, but being unable to because she's a nobody, trying to be loyal, but always falling short because she is different, because she's not one of them. And so you have so much anger and distrust and disloyalty kind of ravaging the ranks, as well as the divide between colonized and colonizer. You also have classism. You have the poor people who are starving, who are sick of the crown as well, versus the nobles who are just trying to get ahead. You have racism, and you have the main character, who is the princess, the queen. She is also, she has a disability. So you have a lot of different kind of diversity and representation in this book that you can relate to, fall in love with, have fun despising and rooting against, rooting for. People change loyalties and sides, and there's no really good and no really bad person. It's so complicated and feels real. You have a battle of religion. The colonized are still practicing magic, which they associate with a god, and so therefore they are considered the uncivilized. And the ones who don't have gods, don't have magic anymore, are the ruling class. And so it's a clash of culture, of religion, of, like I said, race and class, and so many things. In this book, though, the queerness is not one of the things that is discriminated against. There's lots of queer characters. There's a great different relationships, and it's just normalized. So it's nice to have a story that focuses on so many hard to talk about topics so beautifully, and yet does not make that an aspect of it. It makes it something that is just another aspect of them, and one of the better aspects, because they're being judged for all the other things rather than who they love. Unless who they love is the enemy, and then that's an issue, but it's not an issue because of their sexuality. So there's great character development, like I said, rise and fall between whether you think they're right or they're wrong, whether you're rooting for them or against them. Pretty much every character is morally gray, and you just really get to delve deep into this world that was built, and how you might react to different things that are being done to you. You understand where the queen is coming from, because she thinks that she inherited it by God, and therefore she shall rule. And yet she's also trying to see that how it has been done in the past is not right, and there are people who are suffering, and she does want to be progressive and make changes, but it's really hard to fully root for those changes because she's still a colonizing queen. And then you have the people who are rising up on both sides, so her own people, whether it's nobles who are turning against her, whether it's the poor who don't want a monarchy anymore, or you have the different colonized areas who have their own issues with each other and with the rule. And so it's very multifaceted. You agree with some parts of what the people who are rebelling are doing, but a lot of times they also don't always go about it in the best way, and sometimes their pride or their stubbornness will get in the way of that progress that they actually want, and they'll become their own worst enemy. So like I said, I absolutely adored how intricately each character interacted, and I felt like as the story progressed, you really get that depth. Sometimes they seem like a one-dimensional character, and they truly start to develop. Sometimes you think that, they're the good guy of the story, or the bad guy of the story, and then, like I said, they flip-flop. So it didn't shy away from really showing you hard stuff. So there is violence in here. There is, racism being addressed and different stuff like that. So some parts of it you might want to check for trigger warnings or whatever, but for the most part, I think everything was handled really well, really sensitive to each character and each point of view, and I don't know what else to say. I wasn't expecting to have this book be my favorite in the trilogy. I just wanted it to conclude in a way that I appreciated or understood, but the depth that each character went through and was shown through in this book alone made this my favorite in the trilogy. I do feel like there were some things, like it did end the way that I wanted it to for the most part, what I seemed like it was headed for, but it didn't seem predictable in that essence. It seemed right. It seemed like it almost couldn't have ended any other way, because it would have felt hollow, or it might have felt like a letdown after you build up all this tension. And there were people who you lost along the way, that you really cared about. So the stakes were very high, and I still feel like the ending was very rewarding. So sorry, that's noise, but I'm done anyway. So I really hope that you try and pick it up. It's called The Sovereign. It's book 3 of the Magic of the Lost trilogy. Thank you and enjoy.